Hey everyone, time for a weekly market update. I'm not going to keep this one long. Got a pretty, not going to lie, I'm hung over as shit, so this will be a quick video. And let's talk about Bitcoin really quickly. So, I don't understand why everyone is currently shorting. Yes, we have, bearish news. There's FUD in the markets right now. And China recently just came out and said they're going to retaliate against any country that backs United States trade deal. But like I said, fundamental news only speeds up processes in the charts. Every single chart will tell you a story. Let's start with Bitcoin. Okay, so we mentioned, or I've mentioned multiple times that 85K was a very crucial level to hold. Okay, and we had a battle here, and most recently, let's say from March up until now, we have rejected from this 85K multiple times. Okay, so here's the first one. Here's deviation again, again. When you are in an uptrend, whether it's low time frame or higher time frame, consolidation under resistance leads to a breakout. Well, this weekend we had consolidation under resistance. And if we were to draw, okay, we see that this trend line broke out last week. Okay, it was pretty evident. We even had a clean retest there. There's a breakout. There's the retest, and we put in a more of a symmetrical triangle. And if you, I mean, here's a better look at it. Symmetrical triangle, bull flag, uh, resistance. Okay, so here's your symmetrical triangle. You can talk about this being a range with your range highs. Here's your range lows, or a bull flag, whatever you want to see. And technical targets. I don't know if I did this with with one of my students in my server, but here's the technical target for this symmetrical triangle or bull flag. All right, this will send us into that crucial level of resistance that I was talking about. Well, close to it. The level that I was talking about is going to be that 92.5 to 95K level. That is an area where most likely you would want to take a stab at shorting. All right, but we are breaking above this 85.5K level, and technical targets would send us into that resistance. It doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately. This could just be a fake breakout, and then we come back down and completely die. But if we I think that's also a never mind, it has a wick. I was gonna say if that's a flat candles usually get recovered. You don't really see them on Bitcoin. You see them mostly on shit coins. But we are here at resistance as well. Okay, so we burst through one resistance and we're here now at this level as well. Okay, so 87.5K is also another important level. Let me explain why again. So everything that I've explained multiple times in videos before. If you guys are able to watch these videos and digest and break down my analysis, you will see that, you know, everything has been written in the charts. Okay? So first off, whenever we get to around 70 RSI, we usually do have some type of dump. Now, it doesn't mean this is to occur again. We could go into overbought territory for a long time, okay? But usually when we get this high from basically 70 to 78, we do have some type of dump. Now, what I do want to mention is if you take a look at this on a line chart, okay, and we talk about market structure, Now, a line chart, like I said, is one of the most important tools that you can have in your arsenal because it removes the noise. The noise are those wicks. This is why you see this trend line drawn like this. It's usually based off wicks, but line charts don't have it. Now, if you take a look at market structure, and let's say that, we have here's a low, here's the high, here's the low, here's the high, here's the low. 87.5K was our last lower high, our true lower high. So if we have a daily closure above here, we have a structure shift, right? Now, like I said, the first major level to test would be this 91.5K. I don't know how New York Open is going to react to all this news. Um, or everyone's hovering on this Japan deal. Deals could take some time. All right, so focus on the technicals, focus on the charts, and they will tell you a story themselves. That story was no one should have been shorting. So this daily closure is very important. Now go back to candlesticks, right? Let's go to a 12-hour. So clear resistance we are at now, all right? But the thing that I want to mention is if we take a look at Coinbase spot price, we have about a $50 premium compared to perps. So this this pump is not random. There is clear spot buys here that are leading. There's a premium on spot, and it's always Coinbase spot. I don't care about any other spot charts. Coinbase has a $40 to $50 premium, and this was happening all weekend. So that tied with the fact that we were consolidating under resistance led to a breakout. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to get a pullback. We are at resistance here. It makes sense to have some type of slight pullback. But again, it's going to be our first around 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our fifth touch of resistance. Look what happened when we had like 5 touches of resistance around 85.6. Now again, I think we're going to either consolidate here or have a slight pullback. Now, if this was our previous resistance, this actually becomes an SR point. And going to retest, if we are able to retest and turn this into support, we will continue to grind higher. Now, Bitcoin has been putting in higher highs with higher lows consistently, and we just broke out. We can even come back down here all the way to this order block. Now, what I don't want to see is if this was our previous range, I'm going to make this blue. Okay, so here is our range. So highs, lows, right? If we come back under this range and close below this 86.5K level, this would just tell me that this is going to be another deviation, okay? And this continues to go lower. Now, like I said, this 87.5K level is very important because if we close the daily above it, we have a structure change, and any higher low is most likely a buying opportunity. So keep your eyes out on that. This one is going to be a possible risky long attempt because, like I said, if we fall back below under this range, this is a deviation and we can go lower, but this is a potential long setup that is valid. Now, am I going to take this one? No, because of the risks that I just told you guys. But like I said, I will give any potential setups that I see, and if I were to give a call, and I'm going to repeat myself, if I were to give a call, it would be in the Discords in my channel only. Not on here, not on Twitter. If you guys are taking these are up to you guys. My personal calls that I'm taking, I don't share all of them, but if I do, it will be given in my channel. All right, so please do not DM me or message me in the chats and say, is this valid? Is this valid? So keep that in mind. And like I said, shorting would be anywhere from around 91.5K. There are a few places where you could short. My preferred level would be 92.5 to 95k level, but we do have clear resistance here. So you could take a long or short scalps from 91.5k to about 93, with stops around 95k. However, that is not the preferred short that I would take. If we get a pump into this supply zone again from, like I said, 93, I would start my shorts around 95k to around 98k if we get it. That is a personal short that, yes, I will be taking if we get it. That would be it. Okay. Now, I can draw this down here. It doesn't mean we're going to go down there. Profit taking should be based on your own profit levels and support and resistance. I'm going to let you guys, get nitty and gritty and learn how to do TA and take profit for yourself. All right. I'm a straight shooter. I don't believe in handouts. Everyone needs to learn how to do TA. And that is the definition of a short that I would be taking. Now let's take a look at ETH. I'm sorry for anyone that took a short here. If this continues to grow higher, you will get stopped out. So ETH, before I go into ETH, I want to mention, okay, so Bitcoin dominance. All right, let me stop this in. So the last few times, actually, I made this announcement in Discord. I said that we have a bearish div on dominance. Okay, so price was putting in higher highs, RSI was putting in lower highs, and I said in Discord that you guys should not be shorting alts. This is why having exposure to the market, even if you think the market's going to go down, is very crucial because you may not get those dips. So, I positioned myself in the Discords accordingly. Hopefully, you guys took advantage of it. For those that are just leverage traders only, you probably missed out on a good opportunity. But bearish div, now we could go high again and put another takeout, maybe this wick over here. But Bitcoin dominance should be toppling over hopefully soon. We are at a clear resistance. We could go up to 65%. Now, that would most likely either one, alts would have a sell-off and Bitcoin, slowly grinds down, which, like I said, we are at resistance here, or Bitcoin and the rest of the market have a grind up, but because Bitcoin is going up and alts are going with it slowly, Bitcoin dominance will tend to increase as well. But with the bearish div forming, that was an opportunity to get long on few altcoins, and I made a video saying that I was a Sol Maxi. I posted in Discords that this was showing a bearish div, and I made a video and multiple times saying that we will be going higher on Bitcoin if that resistance is broken, and yet some people are still shorting. So, following people blindly does have consequences, but it should also not be your main source. You should be opening the charts, using your eyes, and understanding technical analysis. And if you don't, on weekends when there's no volatility, like now, we had the move right now. We didn't have it yesterday or Friday, really. That should be time where you guys are taking and learning technical analysis. Everything is given in the charts. There's always a story in them, so you have to be deciding when to take a play and if something makes sense. So back to ETH really quickly. ETH is bullish on a lower time frame, but let's not get complacent here. Yes, I'm positioned in ETH. Yes, I gave it to the Discords. We are at resistance here. Now, same concept with Bitcoin. Multiple touches of this resistance continues to be weakness. Okay, and you can draw your trend line however you want. If we do break this, and this isn't a significant level for me, to be honest, and I've mentioned the significance of the levels in the past, I honestly don't really care for ETH until we get above this 90 or $2,200 level. Okay, that's when I will become, trading ETH. For now, just I'm spot positioned, and I will ride this all the way to the top. I don't really care about leverage positions on ETH. If we get above here, then I will start doing some leverage positions on ETH. For now, okay, just like we did here, right? Consolidation under resistance. Yes, this was a falling wedge. This is still making lower highs and lower lows. There is no bullish structure on ETH, but this should send us, technically speaking, to around 1830-ish. Okay, that is if we get this whole entire move, and we continue to be bullish. Now, does ETH have a flat candle? No, it has a wick. So if you are looking to long ETH, I would wait until a daily flip of this resistance to get long, and possible short attempts could be taken here at the at the bearish order block. Again, I'm not going to be trading ETH, just spot positions. Okay. And again, we could go down up to here and still put in another lower high and send this further down. Okay. Um, Now, if I were to long ETH, a place to possibly do it, we'll take the swing low here, and let's assume that these are the highs. You do have an order block. It lines up perfectly if we do assume that these are the highs. This could go much higher. I'm just putting that out there. Even if it does go higher, let's say we go up to like there. Now it lines up perfectly. All right, so let's assume that this is the high. A potential long attempt could be taken at the trendline confluence along with this golden pocket 786 cluster, stops below the wick, and we're basically going to target that order block and supply zone. Now, first main TP would come around here, this SR point that we closed. It was previously support, lost it, turned into resistance, or not yet, sorry, turned into an SR. This would be the first major TP. You also do have other ones. So if we get this fill down here, here's your first one, right? Here's your second one and your final one there. You could also do up here as well. I will let you guys decide where you want to take TPs. Okay, so that is a potential long attempt if you do want to take it, but we do know that whenever ETH pumps, usually it is an indicator for a move down. So shorts in my fit again at reasonable levels, not just blindly, and that is a potential area where you could look to short if we do get to 2200. And most likely in my next video when I cover ETH, that same exact level will be discussed again because I don't think we get to 2200 anytime soon. Okay. Now Sol, I've dedicated a full video to this. I've made fun of the Soul community for as long as I can. Now I've made fun of multiple communities in the past few weeks, and I still stand by my statements. Sorry that you guys are bag holder in those coins, but exactly what I discussed on the video happened on this here. Okay, so I talked about this inverse head and shoulders that was playing out diagonally, okay, which I don't like playing, and the technical targets of this hit perfectly, okay? Now, what's going to happen is I think Sol slows down here a little bit. So not only do we reject here from the resistance, we had the left shoulder, here's the head. Here, if we do come back down, it doesn't matter how low we come down, we just can't come down below the head here. We can come down to here, we can come down to here. You do have an area of demand here, which we did perfectly hit and bounced from. That's why we bounced around 138-ish or whatever today, back to where we are now. If this does reject and even come back down further, this could be potentially putting in an inverse head and shoulders, which means that, you know, Sol is continuing to outperform Bitcoin. Not when we rejected here, when we are at resistance on the BTC pairing and resistance at the USDT pairing. If we do reject with Bitcoin, then the reaction would be harsher than it is for Sol. Okay, so I still relatively think that this holds. Now, we do have a rising channel here. So trendline test would be the next possible bounce, which would also correlate to probably this support touch here. Okay. Which if we go back to Sol here, let's go to a clean chart. So Sol here is at a crucial resistance level. So like I said, I think that Sol slows down a little bit here. Okay, we do have this bearish order block that we are rejecting from currently. So I think Sol either it looks just like the BTC pairing, right? Here is your left shoulder, here's your head. We could continue this grind down. I don't know how big of a drop we get, but like I said in that one video, that demand zone that I gave around 122 on a lower time frame would be the area that I would like to play. But on a let me turn on. Okay. So if we take a look here, nope, just a 4-hour. There's no div, no bearish divergence anywhere. Okay. So if we are to reject, is that a flat candle? No, it's not. If we are to reject, areas where I'd be looking to possibly get would be this order block here. Now this is a clean demand zone, clean order block. Entries around here. Stop loss below. This isn't the entry that I provided in my video. The one that I did was a little bit higher, but there are 2 entry points that I could see depending on how deep of a pullback we get. Okay. So if we are to reject here, coming back down to here makes sense. Now let's do some fibs here from this swing low to this high. Let's pretend that is the high. Okay. Then this area does make sense to bounce. That is a potential long attempt. Now this is a very wide stop, so taking this on spot makes sense. And like I said, I would like to target the 180 level. So if we do get a pullback into this area, I think, adding spot positions there all the way down to here makes sense and target those levels. Now if we do come back down to here, again, it'll be another nice right shoulder forming as well, just like the BTC pairing, and then target that high around 180. Okay, so again, BTC pairing does not look bearish to me. This is a rising channel. As long as the trend line holds, we're fine. Now, if we close back below here and turn this into resistance, then this could just be a deviation, and then we go back down to the retest point of the breakout, which is around like 14,680. All right. I'm not looking for shorts right now, really. But again, if we are to reject, this would be a potential area to do so for, the degens out there that want to feel something. This would be the potential short to take back down to this area. Okay, but I'm not shorting. I'm just putting it out there. We have a clean SFP here. If this 12-hour closes, which it closes in 5 hours. Okay, even the 4-hour did SFP. That closes in an hour and 30 minutes. So this short opportunity looks decent for those that want. I mean, it's easy in validation, and if you want to take it, that would be the potential setup. Now, if you want a tighter risk, there's a 3.3R trade for you guys. All right. Another coin that I'm currently interested in is Link. All right. Let's go to anything but Coinbase. So Link here, and we'll take a look at the BTC pairing as well. Link here looks good. We have a falling wedge here. Okay, clean breakout from the falling wedge. Now, we can do multiple falling wedges. You can take it from here after the breakout. You can take it from here, multiple falling wedges here that had a clean breakout. Now the BTC pairing, okay, has technical targets of a 60% pump, which would send us into this resistance here. All right, doesn't mean we're going to pump that high. These are just technical targets based on textbook definitions of patterns. Now let's take a look at Link on the USDT pairing, and same kind of structure, not as clean, but depending on where you want to take it, here is a breakout attempt. Well, we actually broke out a few days ago, but did we have no clean? Actually, is that a divergence? Yep, we did. RSI made a higher low. Price made a lower low, which is why we pumped. We are currently not close to a major resistance up until we get to this level here. All right, so this could continue running. Now, the BTC pairing, like I said, looks good. All right. Like I said, just had a breakout. Now, on a lower time frame, yes, we are at resistance here. We also are at the bearish order block. So this is a possible area to reject from. But Link is one of the first coins that, and let's just do the last few higher highs and lows. Here's lows, here's the highs, here's the lows, right? And then look what happened. It failed to, like here, if we put in a higher low here, it actually failed to make a lower low and put in its first higher low, and then it's continuing to grind. So we actually had a structure shift here, okay? And this is why this this coin's on my current radar. I would love for this to have a a small dip and hold. Now, the only reason why I'm hesitant in entering this on the lower time frame or even now is because Bitcoin's at a major resistance level with the potential of a flirt of a market structure break. So if we can get some type of double bottom here, I don't know if we can go back down to that low. Around 11.45 is an area of interest for me. Okay, but if this is going to be our little range, and let's go to a lower time frame. Okay, if this is a little range, then a potential area of interest would be this demand zone here from 12.65. and I would probably place my stop loss under 1208 and target $15 at that point. Now, this would be another lower high attempt here, sorry, higher low attempt here, and then a nice potential bounce point for higher. But again, if we have a market wide pullback, then around this double bottom is where I would like to get spot exposure. Excuse me. I wouldn't go in with a major long position because this is a very wide stop loss. Okay, and for those people that have wide stop losses with no, actually with a wide variance with no stop loss, or anyone playing a soft stop loss, you know, it's not a good thing to do. Hard stop losses are preferred. Soft stop losses, you have to monitor price action continuously. So just keep that in mind. But these are the two areas where I would like to get long on Link. And an area where a short could happen would be around that 15.28 or 30 area, stop loss above 16, DCA around 15.63. Now, if we were to take fibs, let's take it from this swing high to there. Okay. The first golden pocket zone is approaching. So this is like that that daily order block that I mentioned. The first golden pocket zone is approaching. We should see some rejections around this area. See how Bitcoin is down $200 since we started talking. This is only down a penny. So that's why, understanding BTC pairings are very, very useful, because you can see which coins to short and which not. Or if you are shorting a coin, if something is holding up strong like this, you'll know whether to scalp or to swing trade it. So Link is very strong at this moment. Like I said, we also have a structure shift, so any small pullback into a higher low around this area could be a potential long opportunity. And if we do get another push on this breakout, then this would be a good opportunity to short for a scalp here. Risk no more than 2%. And that's what I'm like. This is one of the strongest coins in the market and one of the cleanest charts as well. All right. And last but not least, the other coin is Hype. Now, I was positioned on this coin in the Discords, sorry. But I also posted on my Twitter that this was one of the cleanest charts as well. Now, inverse head and shoulders, technical targets of this, right, is around $24. Doesn't mean we get there. I'm just showing you technical targets. We had a clean breakout and retest. That was an opportunity to go long. Okay. Structure is still up. We have higher highs and higher lows. Clean breakout of this downtrend as well. We are about to face our first resistance here at the supply zone. So possible shorts can be taken here. Very wide stops. So just be careful if you are shorting. This coin is also very illiquid, so you could get stopped out, stop hunted, and then for this to reverse. But there's no reason to be shorting this coin. Now, if we do get a deep pullback, this is a demand zone where I would like to get a wick into, right? My spot positions are much lower than this, but a potential long attempt can be taken at such. All right. Now keep that in mind that this coin is very illiquid. When it dumps, it usually has these deep wicks, so keep that in mind again. But this is a potential area where you could see nice reactions from. All right. So Hype is very strong. Again, just like Link, right? Structure has been broken. Lower low, lower high, lower low. We broke above. We have a market structure shift. Okay, so any higher lows are a good opportunity for um, a long to be taken. Now, if we take our fibs from this swing low to, let's say that this is the swing high, you can see that it lines up perfectly within this demand zone. Now, this one lines up with this order block, but here is a clean long to take. That's why, when you see areas of consolidation that are horizontal, that is a good place to place bids because they usually do bounce from there. Okay. I'm not looking to short this coin, at least not yet. The first touch, if I were to short, we already have multiple touches of this resistance around 21, but if I were to take shorts, I'm going to take it from this high to here, okay, a little bit above this here. All right, so there's the golden pocket from 21 to 22. That's where I'd be looking to short, and stop loss would be around 23.46. Hopefully, we get this dip and then we go and hedge short into, let's say we get this dip, we short somewhere here, come back down, and then not only did you have a nice long, you will TP some around here, keep the long active, you will activate your hedge shorts, and you're making money both ways. Now, if you were to get stopped out, the shorts would be, a tight stop loss, and you are writing the longs as well. All right, so that is an area where I'd be looking to short, and that's basically the only 5 coins that I'm currently keeping track of right now. Like I said, big week going into, the next fucking 60 days are going to be big days, but that's what I'm currently looking at, and I will see you guys next week.